Remember that when you are simplifying, there are only 3 rules that you need to know. When you're adding logs, you multiply the arguments. When you're subtracting logs, you divide the arguments. And then the other rule is that any number in the front can move to be an exponent. So for example, if I was doing number 14, take a look at it. Okay, I'm going to move this number up, and I'm going to move this number up. So now it's log little 3 of 2 plus log little 3 of x5 plus log little 3 of x3. So the first thing you have to remember is that each of these numbers can move up to be exponents. Okay, then from there, I'm going to go 2 at a time. Okay, log 2 plus log x5 combines to be log base 3 of 2x5. Okay? So, and now how did I know to multiply them? Because they were originally added, right? Then from there, these 2 guys are added. Well, then what am I going to do with these? Multiply again. And when you multiply, what do you do with the little numbers on the x's? So x to the 5 times x to the 3 is x to the 8. So it would be log little 3 to x to the 8. Okay, and that'd be your answer. So remember that your goal when you're simplifying is to try to get all your crap squished into 1 log. Okay? Go down to number 16. You want to get all of your log stuff into 1 log instead of separated. Okay, look at number 16. I see parentheses. That means I'm going to do these 2 first, because I have parentheses around it. What is log 4 plus log 5?
20.
Log 20. Because you're multiplying, right? So I have log little 3 of 20 minus log little 3 of 20. And then if my logs are subtracted, what do I do with the arguments? Divide. What is 20 divided by 20? Log little 3 of 1. Okay, so when you get to this section on your test, remember you're not solving, you're just combining. Okay, there's no equals, there's nothing you need to solve for. Okay, go down to number 18. I need to do my parentheses first. So I'm going to do these 2 together. I'm going to ignore the 3 in the front. What is log 2 minus log x? What do I do with 8 and x? 8 over x. Because I'm dividing, right? Why am I dividing? Because they were originally a subtraction in the middle. And then from there, where can the 3 move? So look, watch. I'm going to cross it out, and I'm going to put it up there. So it'll be 8 over x on the inside, because they're divided, and then the 3 moves up to be an exponent, and then you're done. Okay? All right, go down to number 20. Okay, we're going to do our parentheses first. What can I move in the parentheses up? Only 1 number so far. The 5. So cross it out, put it up here. Now that's an x to the 5. Yeah, because if it's in the front of a log, you move it up as an exponent. Okay, so I have 1/3. Okay, now what do I do with 2 and 6 if their logs are added together? Times, so it would be a 12 minus log little 5 of x 5. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so 2 times 6 is 12. And then x to the 5 is minus, what am I going to do with those 2 then? Divide. So I have log little 5 of 12 divided by x to the 5. Now there's one other thing that probably most of you forgot. So remember how there was a 3rd in the front? You remember how I can move it up? Do you remember what a power of a 3rd is if you wanted to write it as a root? Cube root. Very good. So I'm going to rewrite this. My 1/3 from the front moved up to be here, but then I'm going to write it as log little 5 of cubic root 12x5. So when the 1/3 moves up as a power, that is the same as a cube root. Now look right next to it at the one with the half in the front. What type of root will that be when I move it up? A square root. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it just to get it over with. So combine these 3. What needs to move first? The 5 has to move, so I'm going to cross it out, make it a y to the 5. And then my first two guys are added together. So what am I going to do with 4 and x? Okay, it's going to be a 4x. And then if I have a minus log 3 of y5, what am I going to do with these two? Divide. So it'll be log 3, 4x over y5. Now, in my next step, I'm going to take the 1/2 from the front. I'm going to move it up top, but then what's that the same as? A square root. So I'm going to show it was here, but then I'm going to move it here, and then I'm going to convert it into a square root. So that would be the same as log 3, 4x over y5. Okay? So remember that a 1/2 power is the same as a square root, a 1/3 power is the same as a cubic root. And I think on your test, out of all the questions, there's maybe one with that in there. So hopefully you get it, but remember, 1/2 is a square root, 1/3 is a cube root, okay? All right, now, in the bottom section, you're doing it backwards. So look at your instructions, it says to expand. So if I'm looking at number 22, continuing down that right side, what do I do if 5 and y cubed don't want to share their log anymore? Add or subtract? Are they multiplied or divided? 5 and y are multiplied, so I separate by adding. So it'd be log 4 of 5 plus log 4 of y3. There is one other thing that can still move to expand it. What needs to go back to the front? The 3, and it's going to end up going right here. So it'll be log little 4 of 5 plus 3 log little 4 of y, and that'd be your answer. Now, if you don't put the parentheses around the 5 or the y, I don't care, that's fine. Okay, they should be there, but if you don't put them, no big deal. Okay, go down to number 24. What do I need to do first on number 24? Yep, I got to get this 4 up top. I got to bring it down to the front because it's on the outside. So my 4 is going to move down to the front. Log 7, and then if 10 and a don't want to share, how do I split them up if it's 10 divided by a? Subtraction. So it'll be a log 7 of 10 minus a log 7 of a. And notice that these parentheses that I drew in around here, okay, those are necessary because they were originally grouping the 10 and the a at the beginning, so they need to still be there. Henry, have your review? Okay, let's get it up. Huh? You're done with it? Okay, last one, 26. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I notice it's a cube root. That's the same as a 1/3. So I'm going to move it up as a 1/3 and then bring it down to the front. So my 1/3 is going to come down here. So I have 1/3 in the front, log base 5. And then how, bless you, will I split up the x and the 2y? Addition or subtraction?
Oh, subtraction.
Subtraction. So I have log base 5 of x minus
8
log base 5 of 2y8.
But you can put the 8 in the front.
I am going to in a second, but not yet. So the first thing that I do is I separate top minus bottom. And then the second thing that I do is 2 and y don't want to share. And if 2 and y don't want to share, then when I split them up, what sign will I use in the middle, a plus or minus? Plus, because they're next to each other, they're multiplied. So I'll have 1/3 still in the front, log 5 of x, log 5 of 2, log 5 of y. Now, I think Sarah was saying the 8, I could write it here, but I'm going to have to move it where? To the front. So if you want, just go ahead and put that there. So my 8 from the y is going to go in front of his log instead of up top. Okay, last thing I need you to add into that problem is that when the 2 and y were on the bottom, they were together, right? So when I split them up, I need to keep them together inside parentheses. So it'll be minus, and then parentheses, log 2 and log y need to be together in there. Okay? So make sure you put those parentheses. Okay? Alright, turn over. Last thing that you need to know how to do, if you have your half sheet from yesterday with all the bases, go ahead and pull that out. Okay, I'm going to do a couple examples each way, just to kind of remind you. Most of y'all actually did fine on your quiz, so hopefully that means that you know how to do it. Okay, so look at number 27. Okay, can I rewrite 32 as a base 2? Okay, look at my chart. What is 32 as a base 2? 2 to the 5. So I'd have 2 to the 2x, 2 to the 5. Okay, Henry, we're taking out our review, right? Okay, then we're going to cross out our base 2. What does 2x equal?
5.
Then do what?
Divide.
Divide by 2. So x is 2.5. Good. Okay, now we're going to go directly below that to the next one. What would I do first on number 30?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. 20 divided by 2 gives me 10. Okay, now, when you get to here, look on your chart. Is 10 in the chart with 2's? No, then you can't use common base method for that. So what you would have to do instead is log 2 both sides. So this chart will only help you with a tiny handful of the problems. So if I'm looking at my chart, 10's never in there, that's not going to work, then you have to use logs. So we're going to log 2 and log 2. And remember, the reason that we do that is my 2 and my log 2 cross out. 5x is going to carry down. 2 point what?
3.32.
32. Good. And then what would my last step be after that to get x by itself? Divide by 5.
3.32.
It was 3.32? Oh, sorry. And I think it was 0.66 was the answer. Is that right? Okay, good. So, how do you know whether you can use common base or not? If it's in your chart. If it's not in your chart, you have to use logs. If it's confusing to you to have 2 methods, then you have to do log method because that works for everything. Common base will only work for a few. So we got 0.66. So let's scooch over and look at 31. Could you solve 31 using common bases if this is a 9 and that's a 3? Yes, I'm not going to solve it that way because if you don't remember how to do it, probably you remember logs. So how do I get rid of a 3 off both sides? You log 3. So I'm going to log 3 here, log 3 here. And when I log 3 a 3, what happens? Cancel out. My 5x plus 7 is going to move down. And then in my calculator, remember that it's alpha window 5 to pull up the logs. -2. Very good. Then what would I do after that? Minus the 7. -2 minus 7 is -9. Then divide by 5. -9 divided by 5 is going to give you some decimal. 1.8? Good. Okay, now, on y'all's quiz that you're about to get back from Friday, okay, if it's an E, there's a special button in your calculator. You don't use the alpha window 5. What do you use to cross out an E? ln and E are partners. So look on your calculator. This is your button to cancel out an E. Okay? So if I'm doing, let's say, number 32 here, it's E to the x minus 2. Then I'm going to put in ln and an ln. Because ln and E cross each other out. So then from there, my x minus 2 comes down, and then I have a special button for me to type that into the calculator. I do ln 5, just like that. So it's 1.60 with a 9, so that'd be 1.61.
Where's it again?
It's right above, or right below x squared, kind of. between x squared and on. Okay?
So now you add
Okay,
to-
Xavier. I know you already did your review, but we're not going to listen to anime out loud. Okay, 1.61 plus 2. And what do you get? 3.61. Okay? Now let's do one more example like that. Maybe we'll do the one with the fraction. Look at 35. How do you get rid of the half in the front? Times by 2. So then when I do half times 2, that crosses out. Now I just have my e left over as my base. And how do you get rid of an e base? You ln both sides. And then in the calculator, I would type in, using the ln button, ln of 10. So ln 10 is here. Gives me 2.30. And then if that's x plus 2, then how do I get rid of the plus 2? And minus 2. So just be 0.30. Very good. Okay? So again, you can use your common base chart if you want to. However, common base will only work on certain types of problems that fit your chart. So if it's not in your chart, you're going to have to use logs. Okay, several of you guys seem like you are not doing your review. I am not here tomorrow, and you do not get an extension because you didn't feel like learning it at the time that your test was. Your test is tomorrow. We're working through these to help you. If you don't care, I'm not going to spoon feed you answers tomorrow. So, last warning. Okay, last little section. To cross out logs, you get rid of the log by applying the base on both sides. So, let's say that I'm doing number 36. How do you get rid of a log 3?
3 log
3 and 3. 3 and log 3 cross out. 27 equals 3 to the x minus 2. Now, that one you would have to solve by common base. That's why you have a chart. So, pulling my chart up here, 27 is a 3 to the what? 3 to the 3. 3 to the 3. 3 to the x minus 2. And then why do I convert it to be a 3 to the 3? What can happen if they both have a 3 base? Cancel them out. And then from there, 3 is x minus 2. What's my last step?
Plus 2.
Plus the 2 across. And x would be what? 5. Good. Okay. Let's do one more just like that. Number 37 right next to it. Okay, how do you get rid of a log 2? 2 both sides. 2 and log 2 cross out. 1 over 32 equals 2 to the x. And then you pull out your chart. Okay, you'll have a copy of it tomorrow if you need it. What is 32 as a base 2? 2 to the 5. Now, if it's a fraction, what do you change? Negative 5, good, or minus 5. And then when I cross out my base 2's on both sides, automatically you have your answer is what? Negative 5. Now, if it's not in your chart, let's talk about that. Look at number 40. You have a question? Okay. How do I get rid of the base on number 40? It's a 10. And so to get rid of a log 10, I have to do what on both sides? 10 them and 10 them. Now remember that when you apply the 10, you're applying it as the base. So on this side, my 10 and my log 10 cross out. My 20x comes down. And then 10 up to the 2, or 10 squared, is what I would put in my calculator. Because the 10 is the bottom number, the 2 is the top number. And what is 10 squared? 100. What would I do from there? Divide by 20. 100 divided by 20 gives me how many? 5. Good. Okay, look at 41. ln, how do you cancel out an ln? An e. Okay, remember that ln and e are always partners with each other. So if I need to cancel out an ln, I'm going to e both sides. Those are gone. My x minus 4 comes down. And then in the calculator, I'm going to type in e up to the 2. Remember that e is on the divided by key. So second divided by, that's my E, and then up to the 2. So I got 7.38, which will go up to 3.9. Then what do I do with the minus 4? Plus it across. 7 plus 4 gives me,
11.39.
good job.
Don't you also just do second LN?
You can do that too, and that'll already give you the up box if you like that button better. Okay, turn the page. Cross out number 42. It's the same as number 44, so we don't need to do both. Okay, cross out 42, and then we'll do 44, which is the same. What would your step 1 be on 44? Very good. You have to get rid of the coefficient. What is 5 if I divide it by 2?
2.75.
Good. Then from here, whatever this base is, that's what you need to apply on both sides. So if it's a little 2 as the base, you need to do 2 up and 2 up. And remember, the reason we do that is that our 2 and our log 2 cross out. My 3x comes down, and then I'm typing the other side into the calculator.
5.66
Okay, good. And then what's your last step after that?
divided by 3.
Divide by 3. 5.66 divided by 3 is 1.89. And now if you put on the test 0.88, I don't care, that's fine. If you're like close up to that second decimal, then I'll still give it to you. Okay. Alright, let's drop down and do 2 off that bottom row, and then you'll have the rest of class to work. Look at number 46. Okay, I see a minus in the middle. How do I set it up? Divide. And if I need to divide 12x by 2, what am I going to have in the middle? ln of 6x. Okay, now one more time. How did we know we were dividing those logs to combine? Because it was a minus in the middle. Good. Then from there, how do you cross out an ln? E it and E it. So E and ln are partners. If you start with an E, you ln both sides. If you start with an ln, you E both sides. These are gone. 6x carries down. And then E to the 4, remember E's on the divided by.
54.50.
Okay, up to the 4 is 54.60. Good. You can see it typed in right there. So if it's 54.60, what's my last step? Good. Perfect. Okay, 54.60 divided by 6 is 9.1. Okay. Alright, one more left. Which one? 47. Okay, minus in the middle. What do I do? Divide these guys. Now, if they both have an x, you're going to have to make it into a fraction. Okay, so I put x minus 1 divided by 2x. And then how do I get rid of my base 2? You 2 it, and you 2 it. 2 and log 2 cross out. I'm just left with that fraction. X minus 2 over 2x. I said that wrong, but hopefully you got it. And then 2 to the 3 in the calculator is 8, but you could type it in just like that. Now, why would I need to put it over 1? How do you solve that? Cross multiply. Very good. And then there is one bonus on your test tomorrow, and it's a cross multiply 1, like this. Okay? So from there, I would do 2x times 8. What do I get there? 16x. And then on the other diagonal, I do x minus 1 times 1. Just stays an x minus 1. And then from there, what do I do to solve?
Add the 1.
I'm going to actually bring the x across because I need to get my x's together. What is 15x if I might, or sorry, I said that wrong. 16x minus an x. 15x, negative 1 is left on the other side. Divide by 15. And then you can change it into a decimal if you want to, but negative 1 over 15 is fine. You could leave it, you can change it, whatever you want. Negative 1 over 15 is 0.07. Oh, and then negative. I don't know. Okay, but I'll say this. It's not too long for you to finish it if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't get anything done, I'm not going to extend your time. We've had 2 days to review. I love to help. You have about 25 minutes right now. If you need help, ask me for help, ask somebody else for help. I'll send out the answer key on Remind 101 so that you can check your work. But if you waste these 20 minutes, don't ask for sympathy tomorrow. Yes, kiddos? 2 on the very front? Okay. I'm sorry? It's Mr. Ghazi. So yeah, he already knows. Yes. No. Oh, the video? Yes, ma'am, I did. I think I sent it yesterday. So if you want to pull it up and make sure it works now, check the video from yesterday. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay, so decay or growth. If it's an E, that's the same as 2.7. That's bigger than 1, so that'd be growth. And then which way would you shift it if it's a plus 4? Uh-huh. So you go to 4. Draw your flat line across. And then you'd go up 1, and then draw your growth graph. Like that. And then your asymptote would be y equals 4. Because that's your flat line that you drew across right there.
This is my homework for it.
Okay.
And can I go to carts? Gabe and I won't be here tomorrow. We're on a field trip.
Okay, then y'all can just help me get back. So maybe keep your review and don't turn it in so you have something to look over.
Can I go to carts?
Yes. How is your review looking, Drill? Okay, you did all the ones that we just did? Okay. Okay. Alright. Huh? Yes. Okay, kiddos, what would your domain be? Yep, because this side goes back, that side goes forward. And then your range would be from 4 till infinity. Because 4 is the lowest it can't go. It can't go down to negative infinity because of the asymptote. Good?
How do you do this?
Which one?
The graph.
Okay, so which way would you shift it if it's a plus 2? Yes. So no, the 4 will tell you left or right.
Oh, I thought. Oh,
And then that's going to tell you up or
down.
down. Yep, so you'll go to the left 4 and then up 2. So left 4, up 2 is here. And then you'll draw in a horizontal line if it's an E base. And then just like on the one I just did with him, after you draw your line in, you'll go up 1 and then you'll draw your growth graph.
And then these are just like the other ones.
Those you're just solving with LNs on the front. So if it's an E, ooh. Oh, and then I have your progress report. I keep trying to pass out after you leave. Yep. Yeah, so like if you were doing number 3, how do you get rid of the E as the base?
The LN.
Yep, so you'd LN on the E side. You'd LN on the 15 side. And then on the E side, these guys cross out.
And then it's
So it'd just be an x minus 4 equals. And then you'd type the LN side into the
what do you
calculator.
do with that?
Right here.
Okay, and then the E's.
And then 15. E's over there, yeah. So it'd be 2.708, which would be 2.71. And then to get rid of the minus 4, you would add it across, yeah. Yep. Okay. Okay, so 3 and B you don't want to share. Right now they're multiplied. So if they're multiplied, how do you separate them? Addition or subtraction? Okay. So do log little to a 3 plus. And then log little to a... Now, the B originally had a 3 up top. So instead of 3, you're going to move it down. So remember that the number in the front can move up, but if it's up, it can move down, depending on which way you're going.
So where are you going?
After she gets out of work.
Plus,
She always goes to my house.
10.
1 Y. Yeah, and then Y. And then your 2, instead of putting it on top, you put it there. Now parentheses the whole thing.
What time are they gonna
And then what did you have it up top in the beginning? 5 seconds to the very, very front. So if it's on the way outside up top, it'll move to the way front side. Okay, and then remember that if this one is the square root, that's where 1/2. So just like here, we move to 1/3 to the front, you'll move to 1/2. And then how do you separate the 5 and the x into separate logs? 4. And then plus, because 4 and x are multiplied. The only way it'd be a minus is like, see here, how 10 and 8 are divided.
Oh, I
That's how you separate it to a minus.
No way.
Perfect.
Are you going? Where's mine?
This one? Yep, divide the 2. And then how are you going to get rid of the 3 after that?
If it says no, you're gonna
Well,
say
you're
right.
right, it's on first.
No, you like,
Good. And then to get rid of a 3, you're going to have to log 3. Log little 3. And log little 3. What? Well, you have to log it too. So then your log 3 and your 3 cross out, and then that you'll put in the calculator.
I think camera,
So do alpha window 5. And then you'll put the 3 in the little spot, the 5 in the big spot.
Yes, you said,
And then from there, if it's a 2x plus 1 left over, what would you do next? Subtract the 1 and divide by 2. Yeah, so then you're gonna take the 5 from the front down here, and then you'll separate your logs after that. So if it's log 2y squared, that'll be, and then the 5 will be, yep.
It's worth 20 points to come through.
Yes, it is.
He's sorry, the answer is 0. He's not playing, bro. He told me he tricked my.
So if the
so
5
he's, like,
starts off
standing
on
at
the outside here, it'll stay on the
Yes,
outside
there's
here,
a
just
trash
like
can
here, you
that's-
should have
and you
parentheses
see it.
on this, because
And
that
he's
one
looking at
half,
the
if
other
it
trash
starts
can,
off on
like
the
far
outside.
away, he's like
Then when it
$5 not
goes
within the
down,
trash
it has
can.
to stay on the
And he's
outside.
looking at
Just
the
like
far
here, my one
Alright,
gun was on
I
the
should on
outside,
it.
that's why it stays
He
way
stands
out
up
here on the
and he just
outside.
throws it in the one right next to him. He's like $5.
That one is right.
Fuck, I gave it. Tiny bit out of the
You'll just turn it in tomorrow for this one.
It won't come.
Okay, good, then type that into your calculator. Okay, so then do 18.37
Wait,
equals,
the only thing that's fucking.
and then how do you get rid of the minus 1 on the x?
Fucking sitting there.
Uh-huh.
5 in the morning, bro.
And then that'd be, instead of 18, it'd be 19.37.
After I left the country or something.
So then log 3 and log, or I'm sorry, not log 7, log 7 and log 7. And remember that you can do 1 over 343 in the calculator.
Right here by
You don't
the-
park in the soccer field no more?
No, I only one time I tried to park there, they were having like an event or
Oh, I
something.
think you wrote the wrong
And they're buying
number.
7 t-shirts or some shit and it was packed and I was like, yeah.
No, you would be multiplying as well because it's a plus.
Yeah, no, I saw it.
So
But his is just
yeah,
as.
it's like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so then here,
I
that
saw
would
it.
be. Now this is actually fine. But instead of dividing by 5 at the end, you should have divided by 2.
Black one. You see it? I don't like that one though.
Which one are you trying to do?
Huh?
Just do 1 divided by 3.
This shit is whack. You told me that
So
he's an
negative
A-rap, but
And then you'll minus the 7 across and then divide by 5.
yeah, the one.
Okay, so you already have done your review? You have already done your review? Ooh, you be lying, get it? Like you be lying?
Yeah, I heard
And it's
that
your
one.
name as well.
You
Hilarious. No, I'm
Hey,
around.
Miss
You
Runner.
have to know.
Miss Runner, are you gonna be putting the answers on Remind, right?
I am, but just only copying an entire 3 pages of stuff you have to know how to do is not gonna be very profitable. So,
That's all I have to say. Your test is
Oh,
tomorrow.
you're gonna be here
I'd
tomorrow?
love to help. I'm gonna be here till 4.
And then you're on your own, but it's a test anyway.
So you're gonna
I'm
help?
not gonna help you on your
You're gonna help.
test. 0% chance.
You're gonna help. Wow, it's
I've
always
warned you
one
for
of the
days.
best. You're gonna help.
I will not even be here to help you, and I'm telling Mr. Ghazi not to help you.
Who's that? Oh, is it that guy? Did you get it?
Hmm?
Did you get it?
You what?
Video.
Yeah.
And then you're but you always want to add or subtract.
I was just like-
and then divide separate.
Y'all was trying to kill me.
Why do you get stuck in this all the time?
The 1/3, leave it in the front for now. So if it's 2 and 6 plus, those are going to be multiplied, right? So it'd be log little 5 of 12. And then take your 5 from here, put it on top of it.
Gonna be a big ass bet.
that you got us.
Yeah, and then it'd be log x and 5.
So who?
X and 5. And then these two, if it's a minus, you're going to divide. So you do log little 5, 12 on top. Yep. Okay, now the 1/3 that was originally here, you're gonna move that up to the top here, but a 1/3 is still the same as
She would.
a cubic root.
Where?
Remember how here we changed our cubic root to 1/3 of the Okay, so just basically think about when you have a cubic root, it's the same as a 1/3 in the front. When you have a half root or here, you should have actually a half. So if it's a square root, it's the same as a dash in the front. Or cubic root is the same.
Yeah.
So if it starts off with a third in the front, it's going to
I
be
really like that coach.
just like for this one, if it's a half, this one is going to end up being inside. So if it's a half, that's a square root, and if it's a third in the front, that's going to be a cubic root. Now this one, you need to get them to be all in one log together.
You are.
So first thing you're going to do is move that 5
You're
up
doing
here.
it simpler?
So now it's y to the 5.
So,
And then what are you going to do with these two if they're added? Okay, so what's 4 times x? So do log 3 of 4x. And then if you're going to minus log 3 of y5, you're going to divide it, right? You can do it in 2 steps if you want to. Hold on. So
I
it'd
like
be
this song.
You like it?
log little 3 of 4x minus log little 3 of
so like
y5.
these ones,
You only need to
log
do
2 x,
so it'll still just be 1 log in the front.
log 62.
So you'll have log little 3 of 4x over y5. Do you see what I mean? You don't, because the whole point is you want to just have 1 log at the end. So if you have 2 logs, that is not what you want. So I combine these two by multiplying to get the square.
So these rows,
Cause that's what the band.
No. Well, okay, let's look at them one at a time. So then the last thing is, remember, is they have to start at the top, right? So that's gonna put a square root of
So for that, I mean, I tried on my class to cancel it out.
and now you're done.
cancel
Okay, so this one is fine except for that exponent needs to be to the front.
But I know we can get.
Because that's one of your expanding rules, is that any exponents have to move back down. So now for this one, that 5 in the up top has to move down to the very front. See how it's way on the outside? So it needs to be way down in the front. And then that's good, except that
Senioritis
needs to
right now.
move just to right there.
Can you write to right?
Yes. And that one's fine.
2 days of ISS right here.
What was it?
Really not your Okay, let's do this one.
What are you laughing
So put those two together. So if it's log 8 minus log x, that's going to be log of 8. Is it 8x or 8 over x? 8 over
So
x.
that's the easiest one. Like you just do it all.
And then if that's a 3, that's going to end up perfect.
This one used to might be this one again.
Okay, now do this one with these two.
No, I have all the
If
answers.
it's a plus, you're going to multiply. Yeah, like this. You did this.
Join her.
So then it'd be 5x equals.
This is the 5 here and the 5 here.
Ellen button right there. Yes.
The bottom ones. I didn't do that right, did I? It was the same thing.
See how you did?
Oh, what about this one?
Yo, the front was clean.
5 to the 2. No, that, wait.
This is backwards.
Yeah, it should have been So when to get rid of a log 5, you have to 5 both sides.
So
What is
what I
5
was
to the
doing right-
2.3?
Um,
Yeah, 7, that should be.
Can you with that eraser?
Ooh, no.
Okay, so put those two together first.
Yeah, no, it was walk 320.
And so then right in here you have log 3 of 20
So what if it's the same thing?
minus log 3 of 20. Write it out first. Log 3 of 20 minus log 3 of 20. And then if it's a minus, what are you going to do with the 20s? Are you going to multiply them or divide them? Divide. What's 20 divided by 20? Then it'll be 50. Does that make sense? So you put the parentheses guys together first.
So this
And then
one,
you-
divide 2, x over y.
What?
X over y.
X over y, yes sir. And then is there a number in the front that you need to put on top?
3 more
So
weeks.
then that one needs to be a square, that one needs to be a 4. And then you do X.
Miss Joyner, how many more weeks till the 9 weeks?
I mean, you get out May 30th, I think, so you have the entire month of May and then about most of the month of April. I guess we're like almost halfway through. It's like a month and a half.
So 9 weeks?
So we get out of school?
I mean, the end of
We got 30
school
school days.
is the end of the 9 weeks. Those are the same.
Okay, so 30 days.
Like this is the last 9 weeks.
So like 4
yes,
weeks
yes.
left till the 9 weeks, is what you're saying.
Yes, except that this 4 really should be on the
So you
outside.
got 4 weeks left.
And then
I was looking for the
this one
chocolate, but you ran out.
That's it.
4 weeks.
Yes. Hang on 1 second now.
First, yeah.
Yes, that's good. Good job. Okay, then you can keep it and turn it in tomorrow so you can study.
So let's.
Can you tell me which one you're looking at?
That's because your favorite class is.
Oh, this is yours.
Yeah.
Okay, so do 5 up to the 2.3.
Okay, so that was my first time.
Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, 5 is 40.52. And then how do you get rid of the minus 7? Okay, so fix this one that you got wrong, dude. That one, yeah. And then I think you did this one wrong too. So that's a long 10. Then to get rid, if that's like a little 10, then you need to 10 both sides. So 10 squared is not 0.30. 10 squared will be 100. And a lot of those you'll have to use your calculator. If it's an E base, then you still have it. Yep, that's right. Good job. Okay, and so then how are you gonna do that one?
You passed me our calculator.
You have to put a 6 on both sides. And then you'll do 6 up to the 2.
So we finished. If we finish, A-okay?
And then if you think you might lose it, I'll take it, but if you want to keep it to look over tomorrow before your test, then that's fine. You're dividing, so if it's like a negative X, it's like a negative 1. Oops. Yeah. Negative 1.
Okay, the only thing that I need to do is a quiz.
X equals.
That's the only thing that I have like a video. So I have everything. I just turned in 9 through 15.
And then keep in mind your lowest quiz grade is dropped, so if that's your quiz in search, the only downside is that if you do it and it's really easy, then another low quiz grade will drop the side side.
Okay, well I turned in that other quiz, the paper one. Did it?
sounds good.
And then how do you get rid of a log 6? You have to not log, 6. And then 6 and log 6 crossed out, and then what's 6 squared? Yeah. Wendy, you're good for your test tomorrow? Okay. You're already done? Oh, you're not taking it tomorrow. Okay. Yes, I'd love to help. Okay, good.
I'm gonna pick a value.
Oh, you have a question about it? I was just looking at the answers and I didn't know how to divide them. So the 10 and the 8, if they're divided, when you split them up, you'll be with that. Okay, then the 4, since it's an exponent, remember that we split out to the front. Now, the reason that the 4 has to be But since the A is like the base of the argument, it would have to be on top of something else for you to be able to move it to the front.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We need to listen to your music every day. Yes.
The only time it would be on the left is if it has something like this. If it's on the inside, and do you remember when we were, this was a while ago, when we were graphing square roots? And we talked about if it's a negative square root, then you flip the house, instead of being like that, you flip it down. But that if it was inside the house, it flips backwards. Do you kind of remember that? That's the same thing here. If you put a negative on the inside, that's what would flip it across to the opposite. But the only place that you're going to see them in this class is and it's in the front, and it flips it down, so it would be instead of like that. So I would say, in general, in your brain, the only time it can flip to the left side of the line is if the negative is here. And that won't happen in this class. It could happen, but it won't happen in this class.
Last question, if it's a lot, we'll always start the lot.
Yeah. And no matter what the base is, it's still counted. So your choices are, it's growth if the base is bigger than 1, decay if the base is smaller than 1, but if it's a log or an ln, all of those count as logs. What's up? Do you have bucket duty?
I just at 5th off, remember?
Oh, duh.
Are we meeting today?
Huh? Well, all of us have bucket duty.
Oh.
Well, 3 people replied, and then I'm the 4th.
I mean, I don't
So I
mind
think
if you
it's
want me to.
only you that doesn't have.
No, I had Audi did it already.
Right, but I mean like during 6.
Oh, yeah.
So Lars sent out the CBA review for next
Yeah, I
week.
saw it last week, you sent it out.
Yes, and so I haven't really looked over
We
it.
already
Bye,
worked-
you too.
I'll work through it, I guess.
But it's
It's a CDA.
just kind of like glance over it and see. I think he probably already mostly works through it. I'm kind of thinking about, I wish I could do like something like the quizzes or something to just, because I feel like we've been doing so much.
No, I can make one of them, but
I
I just
really
got
want to do for me maybe a Kahoot just because I feel like it'd be
You like
more-
those? I have this bad classroom management because it always just dissociates into bad
Yeah.
situations for me.
So I will make it. I don't want you to feel like you have to make
No,
it.
no, I
But
can-
whatever he made,
Yeah.
I'm probably fine with just because the stupid thing doesn't even really matter that much, you know?
What about our semester exam plan
What about what?
we're writing it, right? Are we gonna use theirs?
I don't know.
Do
Honestly,
you wanna take theirs and then cut out
yeah, I
the
think
stupid
we need
problems?
to look at theirs and see if it's any good because we've scrambled so much that we can't use last year's. We can use parts of it,
Yeah,
but we can't
yeah.
use most of it.
Well, at least we'll have the question bank at least.
Yeah, so I would say if we go ahead and take it, mark out the unreasonable problems and replace it with stuff that is reasonable. The only thing that annoys the crap out of me about it is that they made us write them and now they're telling us it's optional. Like I had to write the one for calculus. I spent literally hours
Writing
making
the semester exam.
frickin' thing after saying.
Multiple, yeah, because multiple choice is really
Well,
hard
and
to
most of our kids in AP classes are exempt. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm going through all the trouble of
And then you're
making
telling them no one has to take it anyway.
this exam, which I'd already pointed out to you, most of our kids don't even take,
For exemption, yeah.
only for you to end up telling me that you didn't even really need it.
You mean they made you make it for the whole district?
Yes,
How'd you get roped into that?
because,
Did you raise your hand for money? Or
no, she just emailed me and said I'd been chosen to be on
You've
the
been
team.
chosen, oh.
And for calculus, guess how many
Suggestion
people were on
helps.
the team? One person was on the team. And then on top of that, the final that I've been using was like the whole year, because it's
Yeah.
comprehensive. So she said, so
No, it
I
has to
tried
be
to turn that
semester.
in, and she was like, no, it can only include semester material.
Ooh,
And I was like, well,
so
I
you can
thought
forget stuff in math.
for an AP test, that since they're taking a comprehensive final, the AP test, the kids not taking the AP test should have to take a comprehensive final too.
Exactly, yeah.
And she was like, no, sorry, he's
let's lower
totally
standards.
covered second semester. And I was like, shoot me in the face, whatever. So anyway, I submitted like 5 hours of extra.
Make one of your cookies and
Whatever.
shove it in her face. Eat this.
Really, honestly, I don't even really hate Amy. I'm like, can y'all just stop making me do
No,
extra
it's because
stuff?
they're flounder. This is because.
Hey, you're gonna.
recreating the
No, we're
the wheel.
recreating the wheel for
Oh,
only
right.
25% of students, and it doesn't even help.
The funny thing is, you haven't been teaching that long, but like when I first started teaching, it was like the kids were still learning the same amount of stuff. But it's like now, instead of doing like math models and then algebra 2, now they're just doing algebra 2 and then math models. It's like they're still learning the exact same freaking thing, the exact same freaking T's. They're just like moving things around to try to fix
They have to-
education.
No, they have to, it's the politics of it, they have to show change to be able to say that because there's this much trouble, right? To justify, like, making big spending cuts of this, changing the framework around, they have to show change. So a better way to do that, like flip some numbers around, flip some costs.
Yeah.
Do something extra for these.
When all we could do is just like decrease class sizes.
Honestly, I think that's the best thing.
I
they
really
did.
think it's
I
the
genuinely
best
think that's the out of
Like,
all the things that
should
they
be bigger than
researched.
15 kids.
Yeah, no, they've done the research on it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that out of all the things
Like,
that you can do, that's the thing that best helps classes out. So
Imagine like giving individualized attention and help. I've seen it in my classes. My classes are small, and they haven't always been. Just like since I've been doing teaching internship.
Yeah.
Hi Shay. But yeah, there's a totally different dynamic in the classroom. Suddenly, all the kids feel safe, and they don't feel like they talk about
there's a
things.
difference at certain point. Like
Yeah.
so at some point
I
it
feel
starts
like-
feeling like a crowd to them.
I feel
Yeah.
like when you get below 15 though, you lose a lot of like the class momentum
Yeah.
and relationships. So I feel like low 20s for me is like
Yeah.
the sweet spot. 30s kind of too many, especially
30
if
is way
they're
too
30 needy kids.
Yeah.
30 like in my calculus class, I'm totally
yeah.
comfortable
Well,
with.
that's why it is like that's why it's like that in college. They have 100 kids and they know it's their business. But when you try to drag them along, you can't. That's why my freshman class is so annoying because they're like freshmen.
Can I give you your $20 now for tomorrow? You're doing my 5th tomorrow? And then you're giving it to that other girl to cover your 7th, right?
Oh, you got it figured?
Uh-huh. Because she's covering your 7th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cycles. You should like
I'm just passing out money if anybody wants
like
some.
over 20.
And then, hey Gazi, I'm gonna put my tests in this drawer. There's a Form A and a Form B. Do you know any of the kids in my class?
Huh?
I only know what's his face. The one that always wants to see Burnett and then Xavier. That's it.
Darrell.
The big football.
Yeah, Darrell. Oh, Yuri?
I'm the big football kid.
Okay, I have 2 of them. Well, I'm gonna mark on the seating chart,
Where they should be.
yes, and I'm gonna put a little star next to the ones to watch for cheating.
Right.
There's really only like 2. I don't mind if they listen to music usually,
Yeah.
as long as it's put away.
Yeah.
So if they have their phone out on their desk, you
Right.
can be like, hey, she told me you can listen to music, but, you need to have it.
put your playlist on, leave it alone, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm totally fine with that if you're okay with it.
No,
'Cause
that's
if they're not like typing stuff, I mean, you know the difference.
Yeah.
But if you ask them to put it away once,
And then they
I'm gonna put it on the board that you're gonna take their test and they won't get the
Yeah.
time to finish if you have to ask them twice.
Mm.
Because there are some kids in that class that will cheat if you let them. But if you give them that warning the first time,
Yeah.
then hopefully they'll be scared enough to not do it the second time.
Alright, coolio.
Uh-huh. I loved UT. It was it's a big city, so Dallas is kind of a big city already. But it's very liberal. Like, lots of things go on that you wouldn't see in Dallas. Like, lots of like people that like smoke pot and stuff like that. So, I think it's a very different like culture than Dallas. But UT is a really good school. The classes are really big, which can kind of be a bummer, especially if it's a class that you need help in. But it's a good school. I loved it. I went there all 4 years. So it's probably very similar to like what you see at like A&M or like Rice or another big school. So are you looking at it? Yeah. It's a good. Are you an Avid? Okay. Avid does like field trips and they go see schools. So, but you should go down and check it out. They'll do like campus tours and stuff any day. Are you a junior, senior? Okay, so you get actually college days. Do you know that? So you can take a little trip down there and see it. It's a really cool school though. It's really big. All the classes, kind of like in high school, you know, you're all in the same building. They're like all over, so you're like walking around between classes.
Dang, not sure. Amber's covering your 7? Who's covering your 7?
Amber's covering.
My 7.
Yes, Miss Jen Will is covering my
Oh,
school.
okay. Alright, just wanna double check. Alright,
Yeah.
See ya.
Yep. But anyway, it's a really good school. You should go check it out and see what you think.